I'm Robert Lawn. I'm here to refute the advocate's claim that vitamin supplements are unnecessary for the average American. Their main claim, their supporting claims were that Americans' vitamin needs are met through their diet, ingesting too many vitamins can be dangerous, and vitamins pose an unnecessary financial burden. A few definitions. Vitamin supplement is defined as a multivitamin or tablet or tablets taken for no other purpose than general health. And the average American, as defined by the advocate, is an adult who is of good health and does not have any special medical or biological conditions. My response is, there is no argument that vitamin supplements are unnecessary for the average American as defined by the advocate. My secondary claims are that the FDA and the USDA have confirmed the fact that the average American, as defined by the advocate, gets their daily recommended dose of vitamins and nutrients in their daily diet. The FDA also stresses that multivitamins, this is stated straight from their documents, multivitamins should be taken by special risk groups such as pregnant women, young children, seniors, and those with medical needs. Those are groups that are excluded from the advocate's argument. My second claim, ingesting too many vitamins can be dangerous, but it's not applicable to a multivitamin or a vitamin supplement taken for a general health purpose. The dangers of over-ingesting vitamins, it's so remote compared to the wide use of vitamins that it's not a valid argument. I quote Andrew Shou, PhD, Senior Vice President of Scientific and Regulatory Affairs for the Council for Responsible Nutrition. This is a trade group for the supplements industry. Most multivitamins have such a wide margin of safety that even you're combining them with fortified foods, it's still not going to cause you to keel over. According to the U.S. National Library of Medicine and National Institutes of Health, an overdose of iron, one of the easiest to over-ingest vitamins from vitamin supplements, in excess of 45 milligrams, the recommended limit, would require the average American to ingest 8 or more doses of a recommended dose of vitamins a day. This is 800% the recommended dosage. If you're taking these for the purpose of general health, you're not going to be taking them in such large quantities to possibly put you into a state of medical unrest. The advocates claim that vitamins pose an unnecessary financial burden. Because vitamin supplements have been proven to be unnecessary for the average American, as defined by the USDA, the FDA, and the USMLM, their purchase is unjustified. Therefore, there is no argument that the average American would need vitamin supplements. And that's it.
All right. Basically, your argument here is that there isn't any argument by the way the advocate has defined the issue, that it is a claim of, it's not a claim of fact, it's a fact. And so I think that that is a reasonable approach to make, but you need to make it in that way. And that needs to be that needs to be the justification for your position, that there is no dispute on this. Nobody has to make any inference. It's not problematic for anybody. So it fails to meet the criteria of conflict that we talked about earlier. And I think that you need to be a little bit more assertive about making that particular argument. That's the strategy that you pursued. I think there's another strategy here that you're missing a trick on, and that is that the advocate's use of, of the phrase average American ignores that most average Americans aren't average anymore, and that in fact we have a wide diversity of conditions, which you point out several of them. Older people, younger people, people in special medical categories. That could be millions of people, and in fact it could be even more than half of the country that fits into those categories, especially, for instance, when it comes to the elderly. You could be pointing out that the population is aging at a substantial rate, and that by a time not too far from now, 10 or 12 years, that a huge portion of the population is going to be over 65, which means they're going to fit into the category that needs these vitamin supplements. So I think that you're too willing to let the premise just be accepted and not thinking in maybe some broader terms. The other thing that is going on here is that there are a whole bunch of average Americans, like you said, that have specialized conditions that might require them. They are diabetics, or they have health conditions. The notion that average Americans who have good health, do average Americans have good health? All I keep hearing is that we're all a bunch of fat pigs ready to die, because we are obese, we've got high blood pressure and all this other kinds of stuff. And maybe there's some arguments to be made about those kinds of issues also. On the second point, I thought that you did a pretty clear job minimizing the risk of this. First, arguing that it's not really relevant to the issue of whether or not it's necessary. And second, diminishing the risk. So I thought that was the stronger argument when it comes to clashing with what the advocate was saying. All right, thank you. We'll keep it short.